Hash the burning question: who pays for wildfires in the American West? The American West is ablaze, not just with wildfires, but with a fierce debate over liability. Summer after summer, infernos tear across the landscape, often ignited by power lines or negligent utility maintenance, leaving behind devastation and a trail of legal battles. At the heart of this crisis is a fundamental question: who bears the financial burden of these catastrophic events? The recent signing of a bill in Wyoming, limiting the liability of utility companies found guilty of starting wildfires, has ignited a firestorm of controversy, highlighting a growing national trend. Wyoming's legislation, championed by Republican Representative Jeremy Haroldson, reflects a growing concern among small utility companies and cooperatives. Haroldson argued on the floor of the Wyoming legislature in February that these companies are one wildfire away from bankruptcy. This sentiment echoes a broader anxiety across the West, where soaring insurance premiums are threatening the very viability of these essential service providers. The bill's proponents argue it's crucial for wildfire prevention. They contend that reduced liability incentivizes utilities to invest heavily in mitigation efforts, such as improved line maintenance and vegetation management. The rising cost of wildfire insurance, they say, is unsustainable, threatening to cripple utilities and potentially lead to service disruptions in remote areas. Rocky Mountain Power's request for a 14% rate hike, later negotiated down to 10%, citing an 1888% increase in liability insurance over 5 years, underscores this dire financial situation. Rocky Mountain Power President Dick Garlish stated in August that the rising costs reflect dynamic economic conditions, challenging all other electric providers in the nation. This argument frames the issue as one of economic survival, necessary for ensuring continued power supply across the region. However, this narrative is sharply contested by wildfire survivors who view these bills with deep skepticism. They point to the human cost, the loss of homes, livelihoods, and even lives, often overlooked in discussions focused solely on the financial burdens of utility companies. The tragedy highlights a stark imbalance: the potential for immense corporate profits contrasted with the devastating and often irreparable consequences for individuals and communities. The case of California's PG&E serves as a cautionary tale. After being found liable for catastrophic wildfires, PG&E filed for bankruptcy in 2019, ultimately paying out over $25.5 billion in settlements. While PG&E emerged from bankruptcy and reincorporated, its experience underscores the potential financial ruin faced by even the largest utility companies. California's response, creating a pooled fund for fire prevention, is a significant step, but its efficacy remains to be seen, especially given the challenges posed by the past winter's wildfires. This will serve as a critical test of whether such pooled funds can adequately address the escalating costs of wildfire damage. The case of PacifiCorp, owned by Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, further complicates the issue. PacifiCorp was found liable for Oregon's devastating 2020 Labor Day wildfires and faces over $46 billion in claims, a sum dwarfing PG&E's bankruptcy settlement. The company is appealing the verdict, leaving victims still awaiting compensation, with 30 deaths already attributed to the protracted legal battle. This delay illustrates the slow and painful process faced by victims seeking justice and compensation, further fueling the controversy surrounding liability limitations. The debate extends beyond Wyoming. Similar legislation is under consideration in Montana, Arizona, Idaho, Oregon, and New Mexico, mirroring the struggle to balance the financial stability of utility companies with the needs of wildfire victims and the broader public interest. Utah already passed similar legislation in 2020. This growing trend raises serious questions about fairness, accountability, and the future of wildfire prevention in the American West. The issue isn't merely about dollars and cents. It's about lives, communities, and the long-term sustainability of the region. Finding a solution requires navigating a complex web of economic pressures, legal precedents, and the profound human toll of these increasingly frequent and destructive wildfires. The question of liability isn't simply about who pays. It's about creating a system that effectively prevents future tragedies, compensates victims fairly, and ensures the continued provision of essential services. The ongoing debate underscores the urgent need for comprehensive solutions that address both the financial realities of the utility industry and the devastating human consequences of wildfires. This isn't just a Western problem. It's a national conversation that demands careful consideration and innovative approaches to address the challenges of a changing climate and the escalating risks of wildfire. The future of the American West, and indeed the nation, hangs in the balance.